Hello, everyone. Today we are going to talk about how Erika Kirk went from Christian heroine to primetime villain in a matter of weeks. And I'm going to talk about this from just like a public relations perspective and how TPUSA failed Erika Kirk and specifically Andrew Colbert. And this is their fault. And they had the opportunity to make her another Charlie, and they absolutely failed. So we're going to talk about that today. And I want to say this before I get started. I like to give a balanced approach when I'm speaking. I'm not actually a fan of just like everything's bad all the time. Either you're horrible or you're not. I don't live my life that way. When I talk about Mitch Snow, I'm going to explain that more because I think we make exceptions for certain people. And so when I talk about Mitch and how I liken him to a jailhouse snitch. And so I just want to say that before I get started, that I'm capable of seeing the good and bad in situations, and I'm capable of looking at things from a balanced lens. But there is huge incompetence within TPUSA and specifically with their PR and marketing program. It is very evident to me, and I maybe said this in another live stream, but it is so evident to me that TPUSA has no idea what the F they're doing when it comes to PR, specifically Andrew Colbert. Whoever is prepping Erika for public speaking, for I don't even just articulation of thoughts is failing massively. And I can't figure out, you guys, if this is by design, meaning it's okay if Erika Kirk fails because the person that we really want to be in charge of TPUSA will throw them in a year. I have this very sneaky feeling that Erika will take over for the first year because that's what people want. They want to see Erika, at least the people who are not exactly sure of who Charlie really is, right? They want to see Erika Kirk because it's the last name Kirk. There's a familiarity there. But I have a feeling that in a year, she's going to say, this is too much. I want to raise my babies. I will stay on as co-CEO, and they will implement who they really want to implement in the position of CEO at Turning Point. Because it is so obvious that they are letting her just flail away on stages. So let's start first with the moment that honestly broke everyone's heart and made everyone feel sorry and in a way admire Erika Kirk. Let's listen to this first. This was our sort of after her initial speech on Fox News. Some people were like, oh, she sounds like Serena Joy. And other people were like, oh, she's a grieving widow. She had sort of unleashed, in her own words, this like Christian female army of women who were like, we are behind you. This was completely wrong. And that has changed in a matter of weeks. So let's listen to her speech, the one that sort of warmed everyone's hearts, honestly, because people thought this is a better woman than I am. And I thought this was a brilliant move. This may or may not be honest, but I thought this was a brilliant move because what it showed is that it made her look moral, dignified, measured, not too emotional, right? So let's take a listen.
My husband, Charlie, he wanted to save young men just like the one who took his life. That young man, on the cross, our Savior said, Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do. That man, that young man, I forgive him.
So remember, this happened immediately, almost like, gosh, within weeks of his death. It was almost a week later, right? So people were still feeling all of these emotions, and this felt like, quote unquote, the right thing to do. And in this moment, for many people, I know a lot of you guys, we're talking in hindsight. I'm being honest, right? In that moment, in that time, she won the public. She did. There were a lot of people who were like, that is strength, right? Not everybody, but you know, that was a moment for people. Was seen as strong and composed, deeply Christian, morally serious. And it mattered because it didn't come across as political. It came across as human for people. And that's something that she switched off almost too soon. Again, Andrew Colvett, who is not very good at his job, did not see this. Okay. He did not foresee this and say, you know what? People want you to be human. They don't want you to turn into quote unquote Charlie Kirk. They want you to be human. And all of this talk that you're doing online, you sound like a robot. And people do not trust robots. They want to see this Erika Kirk, the one who is, at the very least, attempting to cry, the one who is, yes, angry, but grieving. That's what people wanted to see from her immediately following this. TPUSA made a grave mistake. They should have protected this moment with silence and space. People wanted Erika Kirk to go away after this moment, and they wanted her to grieve, and she did not. And that was the beginning of people saying, something's not right here. Something's not right. If she had a proper PR team, they would have told her, you cannot come out right now. You are not in the mental space to come out right now and to be speaking publicly. If you guys listen to Erika Kirk, she can't even form sentences. And I do not say that because I think she's dumb. I say that because I think whatever is happening behind this is too much on her mental state. That is my honest belief. I think whether she's involved or she's not, she sounds disorganized. She sounds disorganized. She doesn't sound like she is in her right mind. So what TPUSA was hoping is that because we saw her as a grieving widow, that we would have this excess amount of grace for her, and that we would give her a pass in leadership. And that's just not how humans work. At the end of the day, people are giving millions and millions of dollars to TPUSA, and they want to see it run a certain way. Because when Charlie was running TPUSA, as far as he knew, now we know it's very different. I have a video coming out on Wolves and Finances. But as far as Charlie knew, we were Turning Point USA. We, the people. It was not the donors, as far as Charlie knew. That's why, again, he started changing his mind, because he's going, wait a minute. The people who are supporting us do not agree with what is happening. I need to listen to the people, right? So TPUSA, Andrew Colvett, their PR spokesperson, didn't understand the moment. And he thrust Erika Kirk out into the public with no media training. And quite literally, you guys, honestly, she is not politically astute. She's not. At least that is how she's coming across. She is coming across as very politically illiterate. And it's turning people off because you have someone who is not grieving. publicly, like it doesn't look like grief publicly, and people are okay, want to see that. They want to see that she cared about Charlie as much as we did. And they're not happy with this. She's scared AF. I actually agree with you. I have that as one of my points later. She's scared of as F. I think she's being blackmailed, and I think she fears for her life and her family's life. No, I 100% agree with you. Y'all, I'll tell you what I really think. Okay. I'm going to get back to my script, but I actually think that they were like, listen, this is going to happen. And if you want to be around your kids, you will go along with this. I think she's very, very scared. I think she had no idea what she was getting herself into when she married Charlie. I think she thought this was going to go a certain way. I think she thought, okay, I'm going to marry this guy. People are setting me up with this guy. We're going to be millionaires. We're going to be a government PAC, sort of, this sort of political action committee. We're going to get married. He's going to be president, and we're going to be fine. What she did not anticipate is her husband turning on Israel. That's what she didn't anticipate, you guys. That's what she did not anticipate. In my humble opinion, she did not anticipate Charlie turning. Because a lot of people who are, I'm going to tell you, because I am a Christian, right? A Bible believing Christian. A lot of people who are Christians don't read their Bibles. They just listen to their pastors. And a lot of conservative, and by conservative, I mean Republican Christians, are more Republican than they are Christian. So they will like listen to Republicans who call themselves Christians and go along with the party lines. They don't think a lot of the time. And so she did not expect Charlie to be one of those people who actually said, wait a minute, Israel is not the same as biblical. Israel is not the same thing as the country. And so she was thrown off. And I do think that there's something is controlling this situation right now. And I think that something includes Andrew Colvett pushing her out into the public. I tell y'all what, she looks so uncomfortable talking to Barry Weiss. She looks so uncomfortable. I'm going to show you guys I'm going to have you guys listen to a clip of the Glenn Beck show, because I'm afraid that they'll demonetize this. But she looks so distracted, and like she didn't even want to be doing these. That's what she looks like to me, that she doesn't want to be in public. People are like, she loves the spotlight. I actually disagree. I think she knows that she is not ready for this moment at all. Okay, so Erika Kirk has this moment, right? She has this moment where she's online. She says she forgives her killer, and there's a week or two in between, and boom, she's on the show. She's announcing tours. They're putting people in place. TPUSA is changing, but all the while, Candace Owens is going for the jugular. She's going for the jugular. And Candace Owens knew a lot before she came out and said, and this is what people have to understand about Candace, whether she's right or wrong, Candace is very slow to leak information because she likes to vet and she likes to be one step ahead of people. So Candace Owens is in the background, not even mentioning Erika Kirk's name. She said it once at first. She goes, I'm not going to. There's nothing, Erika hasn't lied about anything, so I'm not going to say anything. But at the same time, people started saying something's off with Erika, because why is Erika not grieving in the way that we expect her to grieve? And the issue that TPUSA had was that they were not prepared to answer the questions that Candace Owens had. And Erika Kirk specifically was not prepared. Again, that's Andrew Colvett's fault. When your organization is being questioned, a PR person always has an answer. Whether that answer is these statements are preposterous, and when the time is right, we will have answers to all those questions. If TPUSA had said that immediately, people would have said, okay, we're waiting. But they tried to lie and cover things up. And as the CEO, when they put Erika as CEO, they put her in a position to be framed as incompetent and as complicit. That's their problem. That's what they shouldn't have done. And that's why I think there's a little sabotage going on, you guys. I really do. In my heart of hearts, I believe that she's going to say in about a year, this is too much. I'm going to step down as the CEO and I'm going to be a co-CEO. And whoever is running TPUSA right now is going to say, oh, slide them in. But you see, they had to make Erika Kirk the public facing figure because the people who love Charlie would not accept anyone else. They wouldn't. They would not accept Andrew Colvett. They for sure as heck are not going to support the amazing Mikey McCoy, the lying Mikey McCoy, the maleficent Mikey McCoy. They're for sure not going to accept him. They're not going to accept Tyler Boyer because there's too much blood on his hands. So they had to put Erika Kirk out there because she's the only person that people are still sympathetic towards. AmFest was apparently a hit, meaning, there were tons of people there. People loved it. But those people were not Charlie Kirk's original followers. Those were people who followed TPUSA after Charlie died. The people who loved Charlie understand that this is a different TPUSA, and they're not as interested. The people who love Charlie are the ones who are asking questions with Candace Owens and the rest of us. So be not fooled. TPUSA is not doing as great as they'd like you to think they are. Nobody is watching the the Charlie Kirk show. Absolutely no one. People are not interested in what these people have to say. They're only interested when Erika Kirk speaks. They're only interested when Erika Kirk speaks. They are not interested when Tyler Boyer or Andrew Colvett or even when they have guests on. People simply don't care. So TPUSA had to do this, but the problem is that they did not prepare Erika. So Erika gets out in public with her little tissue, and people are like, where are the tears? Honest question. Where are the tears? Honest question. Because what's weird is that she didn't want to go cry in private. That's what's weird to people, is that she didn't want to go cry in private. She wanted to come out in public and do this. That's what people are they're saying, what's wrong with you? Why don't you go and sit away for 6 months? You can still be working with TPUSA behind the scenes, but get out of our faces. Show us that you had a group, normal people. You guys remember, I don't know if you guys know who Judge Lynn Toler is, but Judge Lynn Toler, when her husband died, and of course he wasn't publicly assassinated, but still, when her husband died, she would show up on Instagram and TikTok looking raggedy. And I have no judgment about that. Because I think people are used to grief looking a certain way. And there are some photos, I've got to admit, there are some photos of Erika out in public and she looks pretty ragged and tired. But people want to know that if you're going to be in public, that you're going to show that grief. So Erika Kirk gets out on Barry Weiss's interview. Oh my gosh. And she looks so unprepared. I don't know about you guys, but I thought that she sounded very unprepared. I don't think that she understands optics. I don't think that she understands like timing. I don't think optics is the big one. Like walking out in leather pants and a Freedom shirt was a no for me. Apparently that's just the way that she hugs people. The JD Vance moment was weird. Apparently that's the way she hugs people, because she hugs everyone. She even hugged Jason Aldean that way, and Jason Aldean's wife was like, okay. So she's a touchy one, but she doesn't understand the optics of going out looking like a pop star in like this shiny, bright suit. Like that outfit for Amfest looked like a Britney Spears outfit. That's what that looked like to me. It didn't give CEO. It's just it's she doesn't understand optics, and neither does this Andrew Colvette. And so whoever her stylist is, like she actually should have worn this outfit that she wore on to the funeral, like a blazer, a neutral tone blazer. That would have been a perfect outfit, but she doesn't understand optics. The fireworks are something that Charlie appreciated apparently, and that's why they use them. So here's what responsible leadership should have done. She reminds me of the old Tammy Faye Baker in the 1980s. Yeah, no, she does. And I think that's what people, because the way that psychology works is that, let me make sure I turn off my notifications. The way that psychology works is that we will see something and our nervous system will remember something similar, right? So a lot of people are not connecting that this sort of public image after an assassination means something to people. It means that you're not grieving, that you're too comfortable. Our nervous systems are reading scam. It's reading when someone's wife dies or husband dies and they go in front of the television and they fake cry and they're like, I want to find my wife, I want to find my husband, but they murdered them. You guys know what I'm saying? Like to me, this is the reaction that I'm seeing. Right. And so people are not even necessarily being like mean. They're just going, well, something feels off about this. Something feels off about the way that she's responding, because that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of, what's that guy's name who put his wife and his children in those tubs? Chris something. You know what I mean? Chris Watts. That's what this sort of acting. I just want to find. I do like, ugh, and that's what it's reading to me, and that's unfortunate because when she got on stage first and said, "I forgive my husband," I thought, well, she's a better woman than I am, because I'd be angry still a few days after. I'd be very angry. So I thought, oh, she's a better woman than I am. Okay, I am pretty sure a Christian would use the word Jesus or Jesus Christ at least. Okay, y'all, do you want to know something interesting that I picked up on? I noticed that she said Jesus a lot when she was when Charlie was alive. Since Charlie has died, she has been our Lord, our Savior, the Lord. I've noticed that. So you're not the only one who's seen that. It's interesting. I think Charlie figured her out. If you look at the way she acts and the choices she make, I could imagine she blew her cover. I wonder. Okay, you guys, I think Candace Owens has info on this, to be honest. I can't wait till, I think Candace Owens has info on this. The Cabot Phillips story is very interesting to me. The fact that he and Charlie were kind of friends is kind of, I don't know. I don't know. But I think it's possible that Charlie figured a lot of things out. Yeah, she is not acting like a woman who wants to find out who murdered her husband. That's period. That's exactly what it is. And when the public, like again, Andrew Colvette is an idiot. He doesn't know, he's stupid. If the public doesn't believe the FBI narrative, you have to comment on that. Like that doesn't, as a PR person, you have, as a spokesperson, you have to comment on that. You have to make statements. You cannot use X as your informal lines of communication. You cannot. Again, as far as the honeypot reactions, I think that she actually liked Charlie. I think they have a lot in common. I think she loved Charlie. I think the job, if she was indeed a honeypot, I think she thought this job was going to last forever. I think she thought this job was going to last forever. So what TPUSA should have done was they should have allowed her to grieve privately. But what I'm seeing is that they were afraid of losing money. They were afraid of losing money. And I think, and again, people are reading that. People are reading, you guys are more concerned about money than you are about Charlie Kirk's death. Right? There's nothing wrong with doing, okay, here's what normal people do. They do replays after someone dies for 2 weeks. They do replays. There would have been nothing wrong with the Charlie Kirk show playing replays for 2 weeks and then doing the media tour with Mark Driscoll, which by the way, like why Ali Stuckey, Vivek, all those people. That was actually how this should have been done. But instead, they opened her up to scrutiny because they were concerned about getting that money. They wanted to make sure they quote unquote kept the momentum up. And now her reaction is, I'm building. Nehemiah said, I'm building. Okay, there was a hit out on your husband's life, right? A successful hit. I'm too busy building does not work for an answer. Like all of this deflection and opaque response is not leadership. And people are not only not trusting her to find out what happened to her husband or trusting her that she actually loved Charlie, but they're not trusting her leadership. They're not trusting her leadership. Dokama Simon, I think it's very interesting that all this talk about her Jewish heritage is just now coming out. It's almost as if, because I need to actually go look at all of her old footage and see if she ever talked about it. That's what I want to know. I want to know if she ever talked about her history publicly and pridefully until now. Because I think because I do believe TPUSA is being run by someone different. But I think whoever's running her is telling her to leak, so to speak, leak information, so to speak, about where this organization is headed. So leak that you're half Syrian, leak that you're half, Jewish. They're probably going to demonetize my stream for saying that word. But I think they are telling her because after Charlie died, people were starting to look at what he was saying about, right? He said there was going to be a genocide in Gaza. He said they're going to ethnically cleanse Gaza. And then Candace Owens, of course, spilled the beans on that meeting in the Hamptons where Charlie was threatened about his stance on some of these things. I do think that that's one piece, but I also think the Doge piece is a bigger piece. So I think that what they're trying to do is have Erika soften the edges around the blue and white country. I think they're trying to have her soften the edges. And the way that she does that is she goes out on Barry Weiss's, interview and says, we loved the blue and white country. And we called those people, what did she say that Charlie called them? We love those people, so they're having her soften the thought process around the blue and white country. And then they threw Ben Shapiro on stage, right? To condemn Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson and all that and call them, Islam sympathizers and, all that stuff, right? So I think it is interesting that now she is openly and publicly claiming that heritage, because I don't think that was something that she did with Charlie. My thoughts on her being involved. I don't have enough information right now to believe that she is 100% all behind it. But I do think that Charlie began to get suspicious of what everyone knew. I think Charlie was beginning to get suspicious about everyone around him, and that includes his own wife. I do firmly believe that. I don't have any evidence, and I'm hoping that Candace Owens has that evidence. I also wonder if Charlie thought marrying her would be an insurance policy. The fact that he thought she was the most beautiful woman in the world didn't help either. Okay, I'm going to say something that's going to be really, really mean, you guys. Okay, I'm going to say it. Okay. And I don't, okay. I believe in looks compatibility. Bingo. Bingo, Dakama Simon. Okay. I hope I'm saying your name right. Bingo. Why would Charlie marry a woman 6 years older than him? Yeah, because for all that talk about, okay, y'all know like the Christian conservative men are like into younger women because they can kind of mold them. It was very weird to me that he married someone who was 6 years older than him. I, I I think now I don't know what his motive was for that. Maybe he really did love her. I don't know. But yeah, it looks, well, let me say my main thought. They are not compatible looks wise, right? Like it doesn't make sense that she would be that into him. To be honest, I'm just being honest. It doesn't make sense. It makes sense that she would be into Cabot Phillips, though. That seems like more her type. So that's what I'm gonna say about that. It was an odd couple for sure because I think Charlie had a touch of the tism, and I just don't think that. Yeah, I don't know. She seems like a cool girl, like like, and I know people are like, she's so smart. She's not coming across like that on television right now. She's not coming across as such. Um, Let me play. There was a part where in the Barry Weiss interview. Let's listen to that for a little bit because I wanted you guys to hear how inarticulate she sounds to me. Like there are things where I'm like, you're not even completing your sentences. It's almost as if you're afraid to tell the truth. And then I'm gonna get off of here because I gotta watch um the 49ers game. But let's see. Let me know. Let me see if I can do this. Let's see. Remove and then let's add. I have to do this. Can you guys let me know if you can hear this? Can you guys hear that? Let me know if you can hear that. Because I want you guys to listen to some of her interview with Barry Weiss. This is when I was like, oh, this girl got no clue what she's talking about. She can't even answer questions like with political. Okay. So I have to add this to the screen. Let's see. Um, let's see. Let me add. Nope. Why is that not showing up? Hold on. No. Oh, there it is. So share this tab instead. Okay. That should work now. Let me add to the stage. Okay. So here she is talking about when they told her to get on stage and talk.
The team reached out to me and said, they think they got the guy. You should probably say thank you to the authorities and just make a statement. Mm-hmm. I said, okay. I wasn't afraid. They said, let's go to the office and let's discuss. We're at the office and they say, do you want to go live? Or we can easily, you know what? Yeah, let's do that. We can easily pre-record this. I said, absolutely not. My husband always went live. I have nothing to hide. We're fully transparent.
Okay, no, you're not. But anyway, that's either exactly. Why would she say I wasn't afraid? She, yeah, it's yeah.
What you see is what you get. If I start breaking down on live TV, I break down on live TV. My husband was assassinated. He didn't die in a car accident. So we go live. I write all of my own speeches. And when I said that, That is the Holy Spirit that is unleashed. That is a revival that's unleashed. That's not meant for call to violence. That's meant for people to understand that the Lord is moving in ways we have no idea. And God is going to use something so tragic to wake people up to realize that our life is short. He only lived 31 years. 31 years. And so, yes, you have no idea what has been unleashed. But I will promise until my last breath that I will let the Lord use me in ways that he only can.
Like, what are you saying? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but like, what are you saying? I just, like, to me, this didn't make sense. I believe she writes her own speeches. So do I. So do I, because they're not good. And here's something, okay. So I did scour her Instagram before, like right after Charlie died. And she can write better than she can speak. Okay, she can write better than she can speak. And this is what I mean. Like, Charlie Kirk was very good. Robert, I'm gonna get to your point. Charlie was very good at articulating his point. Okay. She just tries so hard to be righteous. This was my other point. Thank you, Robert, because I almost forgot. This is exactly what's happening. Erika Kirk is not being herself. She is so particular with every single word. She's trying to make sure that she doesn't get anything wrong. So she's not like Charlie, because Charlie was saying some wild things, you guys, okay, that he had to repent for, because he would say things in the heat of the moment. And that's kind of why people liked him, because he came across as honest and real. But they're putting her out there and saying, and not telling her to be herself. They're saying, say this, do this, act like this. To be honest, y'all, we don't want our politicians to be super righteous and upright in that way. We want our politicians to have a little bit of bump about them. We want them to have a little bit of edge, because we know that other people in other countries do not have any they don't have any morality. Some people in other countries do not have any morality. So it's exactly what she's doing is she's coming across as inauthentic, but because she's trying to be the good Christian wife and say all the right things and keep pointing everybody back. I don't want to say this because it sounds so bad as a Christian, but she's trying to bring, like, everything has to point back to the Lord. But I'm like, sometimes your questions don't have to go back that way. Your answers don't have to go back that way. They can just be the answer.
To bring glory to him and to the kingdom. And it has been unbelievably powerful. And it's just the beginning.
Build a website you love.
I hate
Wix.
I hate the ad. Give me a second.
Or your words.
Erika, one of the most alarming things about Charlie's murder was the way that some people in this country reacted to it.
Yeah.
And not just online. This was an idea that you encountered a lot. And the idea was this. They kind of justified it. They basically said that because Charlie said or believed things that they believed were controversial or even hateful, that he somehow had it coming. What do you say?
This is where she really cannot answer questions. Again, so my understanding is that she got the questions beforehand. Because you guys, I'm going to let her answer, and then I'm going to tell you guys what I think the answer should have been. They need to just hire me as PR.
To people who justified his death.
You're sick. He's a human being. You think he deserved that? Tell that to my 3-year-old daughter. Excuse me. You want to watch in high res the video of my husband being murdered and laugh and say he deserves it, there's something very sick in your soul, and I pray that God saves you.
See, and this is what I mean. Like, this is the quote unquote Christian answer that she thought people were looking for. Like, oh, I pray that God saves your soul. Like, duh. But what's the real answer to this? What is the real answer? The real answer is we live in a day and age where we are starting to believe that political violence is okay. And so one of the things that my organization, TPUSA, and Charlie were about were dialogue. We have to get back to a place where we see political violence on both sides as inhumane. People want to see that kind of leadership from her. They do not want to see this sort of like roundabout, we know that people need to be saved. We know that. We want to know if you can answer questions without talking in circles. We want to know if you understand people. It is very obvious that you don't. You are out of touch with this generation. Why not just say Jesus? Yeah.
I pray, because that is what is so wrong. The internet in this world has dehumanized us. My husband did something very simple. He talked to people. You're going to be murdered for talking to people. He didn't go after people. He went after your ideas. And if you think it's okay to murder someone because you think they had it coming for them, because they took the time to have people come to the front of the line if they didn't agree with you, and you think it's okay because you don't like what they say or how they say it, that they should be murdered, and you're enjoying it and you're rejoicing in that, that is evil. Evil. Excuse me.
As you know, and as I know, one of the ideas that has gained a lot of traction among young people, especially in this country, Erika, is, and this leads them to this kind of justification, is the idea that words themselves are violence.
Build a website you love with Wix. For your words.
And
watch her not answer this question because she doesn't know how. This is what I was like, this girl's not ready to be anything. She needs to go back home and be a mom. Like that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
That brings us tonight to our first audience question. It comes from Angel Eduardo. Angel is a senior writer and editor for the Civil.
Stop disfavored speech violence. A recent survey that we took after Charlie's assassination found that 90% of undergraduates believe to some extent that words can be violence. Another FIRE survey that we took earlier also found that 1/3 of surveyed students believe that using violence to stop disfavored speech can be acceptable, at least in rare cases. What's your response to those numbers? And what would you say to those students in particular?
Well, for the people who say that my husband might have incited violence, I know that was not your question, but I'm going to put a squash on it before anyone else can attach to that. My husband never incited violence. He never once said, go after them because they're saying X, Y, Z and they deserve to die. My husband never once said that, and he never would. What did he say? Come to the front of the line. I'll put my mic down. Tell me why you believe that. That's interesting. I never thought of that. But have you thought of this? People heckling, laughing at them. Stop. It took a lot of courage for them to come up here. Stop doing that. He gave them a microphone. He didn't take away a moment for them to speak back. He gave them a microphone. And what they do, they gave him a bullet in the neck. Totally different. But you have secular revolutionaries that want to come out and say, You can't say that, and I'm going to stop you from saying it. I'm going to. Why? You don't have a conversation. Something as simple as a conversation. And
The way that she answers questions is indirect. That is what people don't like. Is Charlie was very good at being like, okay, here's your question. I'm going to answer it. That's it. There's none of this like fluff right away. She needs to be coached. That's all. That she just needs to be coached, and that's the problem. Let me go through my. Oh, you didn't want me to be counted. Yeah, this, Erika, you guys stop. I don't think that I think I'm going to wait until Candace Owens comes out with more information because I think she does. I think she will have it. I don't think you guys are not going to like this. I don't think she's a Freemason. I don't. Well, okay, maybe she is, but I don't think that's what the rings are on her finger because she did show them. Her daughter and I think her son's initials are on there. I don't think she's that. I don't think they would let her be that overt. But I'm not into the theories around her like looks personally. I'm into the theories around, was she possibly at the Candlewood Suites? Was she set up with Charlie? I think she does not need to be coached. Yes, she does. Yes, she does. She needs to be coached because she's doing a terrible job. Okay. She's doing a terrible job. If they want TPUSA to survive, they're going to have to coach Erika Kirk into being a CEO, because if she does not, people are going to rip her to shreds. She speaks weirdly. She's not politically astute. All of her speeches at AmFest, which I should do, I need to do a review. Let me know if you guys want me to do a review of all of her speeches at AmFest, because I should do that. She's not politically astute. She's not a leader. She cannot really command a room. I think people will tear her into shreds if she ever goes into politics. Yes. So Mitch has photos. I feel it. I hope so. I hope so. I think they're going to suicide Erika. You know, I thought about that. Do you know I thought about that? I thought if she does anything wrong, she's going to die of grief, if you know what I mean. I thought so. I don't think they sent Mitch there intentionally. I think our government is incompetent. They are out of touch with reality, and they don't know how this world works. Because you guys, a lot of people who are in government are very old. And so they don't understand how fast information travels, or how, I don't think they leaked it. Did anyone ever see the video where she's with Charlie on a show and he asked her about when their baby was born and she can't remember? Oh, yikes. It was because she couldn't remember when they were married. Yikes. Maybe it was right after she had a baby and your brain gets a little bit jumbled. I'm trying to be gracious here. Yeah, they can't keep up with our generation. They cannot. Yeah, I think with the way that the internet's going, especially with wolves in finance, they're going to have to come out and say something because they're being exposed every single day. And I think they're losing money. The people who are funding TPUSA are not the average person anymore. I believe when Charlie was still the head of TPUSA, more people were donating. Now, the people who are donating are corporations and political figures, people who want to control the government. It is no longer, TPUSA is no longer for the people. What's the best explanation for Egyptian planes following her? Here's what I think. My parents knew some people who were in intelligence. I think they track people. I think they track a lot of people to make sure they're not doing anything crazy. I think they track a lot of people. I think people, if they're, I think they were tracking her. I don't know why, but I think they were tracking her just to make sure she was where she was supposed to be and doing what she was supposed to do. That's what I think. And I actually think she didn't know it. That's the crazy part. I think she didn't know that they were tracking her. When Barry Weiss talks about that in this interview, I don't have time to actually go through it, but I think she was shocked. I think Erika, and I think Candace Owens said it. She said she didn't know. But I think that she didn't know that she was being tracked because she probably thought, they trust me. We're okay. They trust me. No, they don't. They don't. It could have been her security following her around. Like they could have been riding in Egyptian planes for sure, which is another question about why her security is not with her. Like again, there's a lot of different things. I firmly believe that Candace Owens actually has the answers already, and that she's going to tell us. I'm hoping that Mitch has photos. Sissy Long's okay. You guys, I gotta run. I'm loving this, but I gotta run. So my next video is going to be about Mitch and Gary Coleman and Valhalla turning on Candace Owens. I'm actually just so disgusted. I shouldn't say they're turning on her, but something is definitely wrong with those two. And I can't put my finger on it. I need to think about it more. I need to get a better revelation of what's going on. But I think Paramount Tactical, okay, you guys, my channel is not, it will probably be monetized next week. YouTube is like taking forever to monetize my channel. So next week I will be able to like interact with you guys more, and you guys can send super chats if you really want to do that, but I can't do that. YouTube is taking forever to actually monetize my channel. But, a big tell was when she said Candace told everyone she was on Egyptian planes. No, I think what she was doing there is she was doing this thing where when you're lying, you talk about something that was never said. I think she was trying to make people. I think she was trying to make people say, "Why would Candace say this? She was on an Egyptian plane. She never was." But that's never what Candace said. Candace said they were following her. So when you want to cover up something, you say, "I never said I was on Egyptian planes." That's not a lie. Right? So she's not lying. So it's plausible deniability for herself. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm worried that they're going to like wait on my channel before they monetize anything and like wait. I've been saying the I word on here, and I just worry that YouTube is going to, yeah, I worry about that. But anyway, I will let it. They're making ad revenue from sponsors. Channel's really big. Like, yeah. I should probably be more careful. But honestly, like, I do have a job outside of YouTube. This is just literally because this is fun. And oh yeah, I'll start using Philadelphia. But yeah, I have a job outside of YouTube, but this is really fun. And I know that it's really good to hear when other people think the same way that you do, because the world will tell you that you are crazy. When COVID happened, you guys, people used to think that I was crazy. I was like, there is no way I am following along with this. I was like, there's no way. People are like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, and you just want your grandma to die, and you're insensitive. And I was like, oh my gosh, whatever. But anyway, you guys, I'm gonna go watch the Niner game. And thank you guys so much for participating. And my next video will be about Mitch, the jailhouse snitch, because I think that's what he is. I don't care that he's a criminal. Is he lying or is he not? That really doesn't matter. Y'all voted for a president who had felonies. So what are we talking about? I don't like incongruency. Okay. Like, he's just like, stop the badness. Stop lying. Okay. Can we really, like, let's talk about it. All right, you guys, thanks so much. I will see you guys in the next one.